Well, good morning, everybody, and welcome back to Saturday Morning Glory with Lady G. How is everybody doing? Has everybody been getting a proper night's rest? For you know it's important for us to get our proper night's rest so we can get up and defeat the challenges that we're going to have today. Because, honey, you know we're going to have some challenges. Well, y'all, before we get into what we're getting into, let me tell you what I'm drinking. This morning, I am drinking nettle tea. Now, nettle tea is known for good joint health. Also, I put a drop of peppermint essential oil. Here she is, y'all. Yes, I don't put any sweetener or anything in it. I take it just like it is. Well, y'all, let's go ahead and get into what we came to get into. Have any of us have been felt like we were stuck in a situation, been in a situation too long? Maybe we was looking for a promotion. Maybe we were looking in a relationship, a situationship, and we were waiting for that person to pop the question, and they just took years and years and years, and we just sat there feeling like we was wasting our time, and nothing ever came of it. Or maybe you were in an abusive relationship, and you was just hoping that maybe he or she would stop abusing me, he or she would stop slapping me around, and you just stayed in it and stayed in it and stayed in it. Have you ever been in that situation where you've been into something that you knew you shouldn't have been into, a job that you knew that it was time for you to get promoted, or it was time for you to move on, but you just, for some reason, you just stayed there and didn't know why? Well, this morning I got a story for you, honey. The story is coming out of John, the 5th chapter, starting at the first verse, honey. In this story, we pick up with Jesus. He took a trip to Jerusalem. And while he was in Jerusalem, he came up on this sheep market. And at the sheep market, there was a pool called the Pool of Bethesda. Now, the Pool of Bethesda had not one, not two, but 5 porches. Now, 5 whole porches. Now, Jesus walked up into the pool, and he seen this man that had been laying there, not for 5 years, y'all, not for 10 years, but for 38 years. He had been laying at this pool. Now, the significance about this pool is an angel would come down and would trouble the water, and the first one in the pool would get healed. So this pool had all types of lame, blind, crippled, whatever, you name it, they were laying around this pool. This man had been laying lame for 38 years, laying at the brink of his healing, laying at the brink of a new life, laying at the brink of a new beginning for 38 years. So Jesus walks up on him, he pulls up on him, he said, "Listen, would thou be made whole?" He was like, "Yeah, Jesus, I want to be made whole, but every time I get ready to get in the water, somebody steps in ahead of me, and I miss it, and I'm still here." Can I just encourage us on this morning? It's time to move. It's time for us to get up out of that same situation that we've been sitting in, that we know is a dead-end situation, that we know that it's not a situation that God has created for us. It's a situation that we have created for ourselves. It's time for us to start applying for jobs, to go ahead and believe God for that promotion, because you can't fly if you don't apply. You have to put in the application and trust God and believe God through the process so you can get up out of that job that you know is at a dead end. They're mistreating you, they're misusing you, they're abusing you, they don't appreciate you. So it's time for you to fly, honey. So it's time for you to move. It's okay to tell people bye. Maybe you still have them same old frenemies. They're really not your friends. They talking about you. They lying on you behind your back. They lying on you to your face. They telling you all kinds of stuff, bring you all kind of drama, keeping chaos in your life. It's time to move. Just like the man at the Pool of Bethesda. He had stayed in his situation a little too long. Sometimes you got to do what you know to do. Maybe his legs didn't work. Maybe his arms did. If his arms worked, maybe he could have just roll, you know, how they call it, low crawl. Maybe he could have rolled to the pool. Whatever it took to get to the pool. Sometimes we have to realize it's time to move. Sometimes we stay in situations too long. We stay in predicaments too long, and it begins to wear on us and tear us down, and we begin to get anxious and depressed, and all types of things start to happen because why? We stayed in that situation too long. Sometimes we just deal with people too long. It's okay to bless them and block them. It's okay to tell people bye. God has given me the gift of goodbye. I can tell you goodbye. It will hurt. And it don't feel good a lot of times, but sometimes it's best for your mental health. It's time to move. So Jesus looked at the man and he said, "Listen, take up your bed and walk." The man immediately took up his bed and he started walking. Well, just like today, you always got haters in the mix. The book says that the Jews saw the man take up his bed and walk, and they went to him and told him, "It's the Sabbath. You're not supposed to be taking up your bed and walk." He said, "Well, all I know is this man told me to take up my bed and walk, and I'm taking up my bed and walk. Now, the same people that saw him laying at that pool for 38 years, that didn't care enough to come and help him, didn't care enough to come and push him in the pool. So you always got people standing on the sideline, haters, honey. They stand on the sideline, and they see you struggling. They see you going through. They won't say, well, girl, I know of a position that's down the hall. You need to go ahead and put in for it. Or they won't say, girl, now you know this guy, he ain't been right for you. A man, you know this woman, she ain't been treating you right. She been cheating on you. She been doing all kind of stuff. Why you want to marry her? They don't come with that kind of good advice. They say, well, girl, just hang on in there. Maybe the job will get better. No, just like the Jews, they came and said, it's the Sabbath day. You're not supposed to be carrying your bed. But how many remember when Jesus said, I'm the Sabbath? So Jesus healed him. And so they said, well, who is this man that healed you? But it was such a crowd. It was so many people. He couldn't pick Jesus out of the crowd. So he was like, well, you know, I don't see him now, but he told me to take up my bed and walk. So I just want to encourage you on today. It's time to move. It's time for us to move on into those places where God is calling us. It's time to move on into writing that book, finishing that book, talking to myself too. It's time for us to finish that book. It's time for us to go out there and pursue your happiness. Pursue your dream. Stop sitting around waiting for somebody else to make you happy, because happiness is from within. Happiness comes from good things happening to you that make you happy. The joy of the Lord is your strength. But happiness, honey, you got to go on and pursue your happiness. You got to care enough about yourself. Sometimes it's okay to be selfish. Sometimes it's okay to care enough about you to get up and move to a better location. It's time to move. It's time to move out of that toxic situation. It's time to move out of those toxic relationships. It's time to move out of those toxic friendships. And it's time to move on to bigger and better. Don't you know God has better for you? Don't you know that he has peace for you? He said, take my yoke upon you and learn of me, for my yoke is easy and my burden is light. He said, if you keep your mind stayed on me, I will keep you in perfect peace. There's a peace that passes all understanding. Sometimes you got to go do it for your own sake. Do it for your own peace. Do it for your own peace of mind, honey. It's time to move. It's time to move out of that situation. Move out of those dead situations. Move out of those going nowhere situations. Move out of those dead end situations. It's time to move. This man, after 38 years, it took Jesus coming to him to tell him to take up your bed and walk. So this morning, I come to encourage you. I come to tell you, take up your bed and walk, because it's time to move. Move on to better. Move on to greater. Move on to blessings. Move on to peace. It's time to move. I just wanted to come in the garden and encourage you on this morning. It's time to move. Are you ready? It's time to move. Take up your bed and walk. And you're going to have haters coming to you talking about, you ain't supposed to be walking. You ain't supposed to do this. But they never came to you to encourage you while you was down. So stop paying attention to those folks that's coming to you now that you're doing good, now that you're moving. Now here they come with all this advice. But they didn't have any advice when you were laying at that pool. So it's time to move. Don't worry about the haters, because the haters going to come. And something that my pastor told me, there's nothing new under the sun. It's just the same thing being done to new people. It ain't new. Haters been around all our lives. They've been around forever. So stop worrying about the haters. It's time to move. All right, y'all. Listen, I want to encourage you guys to follow me on, the subscribe to my YouTube channel. My YouTube channel is Lady G's Garden Cafe. And also, if you come on and follow me up on my TikTok channel. And my TikTok channel is Being Lady G. Now, TikTok, you're going to see some of everything. You're going to see squirrels, birds. You're going to see some of everything. Nature. You're going to see some of everything. But I want you to know it's time to move. It's time to move and hit that subscribe button for my YouTube channel. It's time to hit that thumbs up for my Facebook. And it's time to follow me on TikTok. But it's time to move. So get up and move. God has great things in store for you. But you won't know it until you get up. All right, y'all. I want y'all to go and have a blessed and wonderful day. And I want you to have a wonderful day. You got it on purpose. Until the next upload. It's time to move. Later.